here we are at the Skeptrack room right after the parade took place on Saturday morning. And usually Angie introduces the track that we have, but I'm giving her a little breathing room because she was our Barbie driver today.
Hi, Barbie!
And she did a fabulous job. Driving a stick shift in the parade route is very difficult. It's 2 miles of gear changing and
Yeah, she may owe me a clutch after this.
yeah. I might have to buy her a new clutch. But we couldn't have done it without her, and actually I want to thank her publicly for donating every single month to the effort. And by the time DragonCon comes around, it costs us still money, so we're looking for donations at all times, but at least we can afford it. So
Well, you're a
thank
401(c)(3).
I am a 501c3,
and
and
you know the numbers are hard. So.
All donations are tax deductible, and they are, if they're earmarked for the DragonCon parade, we use it for that only. So if you're inclined to make a donation, go to the Free Thought Society website. So Angie, how was your experience?
Okay, so I normally, because I do the track like the rest of the time, there really aren't, usually we don't have talks on Saturday morning because of the parade, because we want to go all participate in the parade or sleep in my case, because I'm usually doing stuff late into the night, and then sometimes it's actually track related, and then Saturday's also a late night for me, but you're the only person I would get up this early for. I'm not gonna lie. And I also don't do costumes usually because I already border on like cartoonish. So, but Margaret is just a master of creating the whole look, and we were at TJ Maxx earlier this week, and she kept saying, well, what about this outfit? What about this outfit? I'm like, you should just look in my closet. And so we found some stuff. This is my actual clothing, except this is Margaret's hat. And then, but just like, she's so creative, and every one of these signs and all of these costumes she's come up with, and she is just unceasingly energetic and so creative, and I'm just humbled by the mountain of creativity, and also, you know, the creativity of the people in the parade. So one of the secrets about the parade is if you're in it, you get to see everybody's costumes up close and personal. You don't have to wait for them to march by. They may not be quite assembled yet, but most of the time they are assembled, and they're having a good time, and they're dancing. Like we were doing the Macarena before the thing. We were playing the YMCA. We were doing Apache Jump on It. And if you hadn't seen Stormtroopers doing the Apache Jump on It, you know, the dance, it's hilarious. And all the cars you can look up close. There was a guy in front of me who had the Green Arrow car, and not only did he have a wrap, and I'm so sorry, I would have had a Barbie wrap, except that we didn't think of it until 3 days before the con, and that wasn't enough time to do it. So, but totally would have done it. Anyway, so the Green Arrow guy, his inside of his car was done too. The kit car looked like the kit car. So if you go and look in, if you're in the parade, you get to do that. You get to dance with the Ewoks. You get to dance with the, you know, T-Rexes. And you sort of see the preview of the whole parade, because while we were waiting to leave, they were all walking past us. So, and they'll start their chants, they'll start the things, and we got to hear the music, and we got to watch the whole thing. It's fantastic experience. If you haven't done it, you definitely should. I know I'm preaching to cheering to the pep squad here. Well, this is going to go on
the website, so we want our viewers
to understand. So y'all come and do it. It's so much fun. Yeah. And then, so as far as the creativity goes, we try to reserve the car for a, you know, celebrity kind of personage, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get. Schedules don't match up, or there's a, you know, whatever conflicts, but was it last week that you called me or texted me and said, hey, what do you think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg? And I'm like, I love it. I absolutely love it. And so she got the signs. I don't know how you do things so fast. It's amazing. But so those magnetic signs she had made quickly, she shook Atlanta like a tree, and pink ribbon fell out. So I was able to make some ribbons, you know, tie some stuff on the car. And so she came up with having Ruth Bader Ginsburg as a representation of one of our skeptical heroes. And you would not believe the crowd's reaction. I don't know if y'all could, I think y'all marching right in front and behind could hear it, but those of you who maybe were a little further back, you may not have heard, but people were chanting RBG, RBG. Sometimes they said RGB, which I thought was cute. But they were such huge fans, and I got a little verklempt. I got a little teary at that
Well,
passion.
people were throwing kisses and
yeah.
making heart shapes, and they were chanting and clapping and cheering. I was getting teary-eyed because, you know, I wasn't living up to Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, she's got big shoes to fill, and
Yeah.
you know, so do you. But definitely get involved with the parade if you are in the if you have the time available. It was an experience. I mean, I've done it several times, and it's always so fun. And today the weather was perfect.
Yeah. The first time you drove a star car, you had the amazing Randy as your person in the back.
I did. I've
And
driven him
you
twice,
were
as a
dressed
matter of
as a
fact.
chauffeur for that.
I was.
And then the second time you had
John
James
DeLance.
No, you had James Randy again.
Oh, did I?
And you
Back.
dressed as a
A
crash car dummy.
Yeah, crash test dummy.
It was so funny. And then John Delancey.
Oh wait, before we were when we were driving, because you know the morph suit. I had a morph suit on, and the morph suits like you can't. I mean, you can sort of see, but I had to cut. Celestia cut my eye hole out. So I could actually just put on sunglasses. So I had sunglasses on, and you couldn't tell there were holes in it. But as we were coming back, coming up to the parking thing, I don't think I told you that there was a police on a bike, and he's like, "Can you do you have full vision in that costume, young lady?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, I do." Wink. So.
But
Anyway.
you know, we can always count on Angie for so much. So I want to give her a round of applause. It shows appreciation. Now you can stay with us as we talk to people, or if you want some rest, we'll let.
No,
Barbie
I'm
rest.
here for the I'm here
Okay,
for the track.
so you can help me interview our participants.
I'd love to.
The first participant coming up is Mandisa from Black Non-Believers.
Hi, Barbie.
Where's your sign? Where's your sign?
Where's your sign?
You go get it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, please, when you come up, have your signs with you, because that way people can see what was written on the sign and we can talk about it. There she is.
Oh my goodness. So Mandisa was Mary Jackson, who was extremely important and very undersung hero. And
Well, go ahead and show the sign to the
Yep.
camera. And it says,
I'll hold it for you so you can.
NASA's first black female engineer.
They'll get a two-shot. Can you get a two-shot?
Skepticism added to her success.
No, yes, no.
So,
Above that water bottle.
I guess you are gonna have to go over there.
Okay. There.
there
No,
we
yes,
go.
Oh, see, I knew they could do it. I knew they could do it. I was gonna hold it up for you because I'm not.
So there's the little twist about numbers and adding and success and skepticism. We tied it all in. So Mandisa, tell us about your experience. You're from Atlanta.
Well, you might as well say I'm from Atlanta. I've been here for over 25 years. I'm originally from New York City, though, so shout out to all my New York City folks or who are in the tri-state area. But yes, Atlanta has been my home for a very, very long time now. So the experience. This is my third parade.
You were
that I've done.
Hypatia before, weren't you?
No.
No, I
No,
was just
who
a
were you?
skeptical
Skeptic
goddess.
goddess, that's right,
Twice.
that's
Yeah,
right,
I was
yeah.
a skeptic goddess, and I remember the year that you drove James Randy, and you were the Ghostbuster. Or
Crash
the-
test dummy.
Yes, the
It was a
crash test dummy.
dummy,
Okay, yeah.
I drove John Delancey as what was I? 7 of 9. Yeah, I was 7 of 9.
Yeah, and this year it was just really, really great. I love seeing all of the different costumes.
Mhm.
The creativity is always amazing,
Oh, yeah.
and the fact that when the skeptics go by, especially the skeptics in history, and people recognize who we are,
Oh, yeah.
recognize who we were, and that was just a really, really amazing experience. It's exercise, but yeah, no, it's wonderful.
And this
It
was a
is-
great year for it because the weather was
Oh
perfect.
yes,
It was perfect
yes.
today.
And we love your costume. It was a perfect, perfect costume. She created this herself, and I think it's a wonderful representation. Mary would be so proud of
Thank
you.
I did a little research on her. I saw that she liked the polka dots. You know, she actually, in some of the pictures, she wore pants. So, I mean, she was, you know, like ahead of her time as well. I think once she got to that pinnacle point in her career, she was able to dress a little bit the way she wanted to. But I just love the studiousness of, you know, her look and just, you know, just her story as well was just really, really
Can you
amazing.
tell us a little bit of the story?
Margaret, I'm going to need those glasses, though.
Okay.
Yep, tell the story, please.
Yes, so Mary Jackson, for those of you who are familiar with the movie Hidden Figures, she was one of the 3 black women who were instrumental in helping the space race project get off the ground. These women do not get enough credit. They are, for the longest time, their involvement in that was almost erased. And so Mary, who is a native of Virginia, the Hampton area, she is a graduate of Hampton University. She's an AKA, you know, if you're familiar with the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha. So she was an AKA, and she graduated with honors.
Wow.
And she actually had to, because it was suggested for her to go back and get like an engineering degree, she had to petition the Hampton school system because it was segregated. So she had to petition to further her education in that state. And she also stepped down from her position at NASA. She took a demotion so that she can help establish like the diversity and help mentor women in engineering, mathematics at NASA. So she did so much fantastic and important work that really cannot just be stated enough.
And everyone needs a hero like her. And when did she die? Do you know the
She
date?
passed away in 2005.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2005. She lived to be 83 years old. Yeah. So, you know, she went through a very, very rough time,
Yeah.
you know, being born in the 1920s.
Yeah.
But what that shows is that even during that time period, that there were black folks, especially black women, who pursued and persisted and they persevered, especially in the fields of education, math, and science.
Absolutely.
So, and this is the type of history that some would want wiped off. You know, they would want erased. And we can't let that happen.
Nope.
Right.
And it's so frustrating that we're still fighting that same battle 50, 60 years later.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And
it's
this
so
is
frustrating.
why we're doing the parade, is to remind people about these heroes that used skepticism to free themselves from tradition, authority, revelation.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for
this
participating, Mandisa.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I was so glad to be asked and to be able to do it this year.
Did you hear people yelling at you? from the
Yes, they were like, "Go Mary!" And I loved it. I love the fact that there were especially young people who recognized who she was, and it was just really great.
Right.
And you know, and it's important for children, especially black children, to understand that, you know, it is possible to obtain and get a career, you know, math, science, you know, engineering, you know, all of that stuff. I mean, it's fascinating.
And the other thing about it is, because it matters to be represented, and because the people who are watching the parade are not always attendees of DragonCon. In fact, a significant number of them are not.
Yeah.
And they are the local Atlanta community coming out, and they come out in droves. I mean, like they are stacked in parking decks, five decks high, and hanging off of balconies and stuff. But and in several parking decks, there were several stacked high.
The estimated audience is 90,000 people.
And that doesn't count the people on television.
Right.
And so it really does matter to represent
Yes.
folks. Not only because it's important, but also because it gives a more concrete example
Right.
instead of an abstract name in a book. It gives you get to represent that person in the flesh.
And hopefully when it's time for other events like this, because we absolutely encourage, like maybe for Halloween or other events or future Dragon Cons, that this could be a costume that someone wants to wear.
Excellent, excellent
And
point.
I think that that is very, very important. And I mean, it was just so great to, you know, to see the audience and wave in the be in the parade with all of you. It was just such a good time.
Well,
It's always
thanks again, Mendisa.
Thank you.
All right, give a very big hand. So the next group I'm going to call up are the heroes of the parade, and I mean the heroes. That's the banner carriers. What would we do without you? We wouldn't have a parade without you. So banner carriers, please come up and show us your skeptic hero costume. We had 4 banner carriers. I was really getting worried. I don't know where the 4th one went. Greg? Oh, Craig? Okay. So we'll say hi to Craig online or something. So, you're here. Okay. Who's the 4th one? Oh, Drew. Oh, okay, okay. So why don't we go down the line, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and then after that, after everyone's told us the name and where you're from, we'll go back and you can tell us some highlights of your experience.
I'm Bill Creasy from Maryland. I'm representing the Washington area secular humanists.
I am Kim Sangster from Tifton, Georgia, down south.
My name is Craig Petty. I currently live in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, so we'll begin with you, Bill. Do you have any exciting things that happened to you today?
Well, I just thought it was great because you could walk along and the applause as soon as we passed for Ruth Bader Ginsburg was amazing. It's just like, I mean, the pirates and there's a Star Wars car ahead of us, and they got nothing. And then all of a sudden, we would go by, and they'd see Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they were like, yeah.
They would chant. They were chanting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, they were
And
saying
waving and stuff.
RBG.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just like a constant motion down
Yeah, I
the
saw
street.
you kept looking back like with pride. I could see you like, she's with us. She's with us.
Well, this was also the first year, I believe, that the car was actually behind the banner. Usually you guys
Yeah.
get moved out first, so...
Yeah, they tried, but we like,
Yeah.
nope, that's not
So
going to
that
happen
was
now
cool.
this year.
Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was in the car this time.
Yep. I'll whack her with she threatened to whack him with her gavel. So, but thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
And next?
Hey, so I'm a longtime spectator of the parade, first-time walker. So that was exciting. It was different from what I expected. Not as arduous as I had feared. But the weather was great, super, nice breeze.
Would you do it again?
Yeah,
Good.
I think we had a hard job maintaining distance
Yeah.
and keeping the banner straight. But it was a little challenging.
Well, it takes experience, so you have to come back.
That's
Right?
So next year I should be a pro.
Well, that you might think that that's emblematic of our job as skeptics, is it takes effort to keep everything straight.
And to carry the banner.
And to carry the banner, that's exactly right. And it's the most important job.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, I'm Craig Petty. I remember people yelling at us like, nope, don't believe who we are. Got me skeptical of us.
They were skeptical?
Yeah, of us. Of us being skeptical. It was a great parade. I got to hang out there, walk around, walk through downtown Atlanta here. I believe this was my 2nd time in the parade. And I spent much of my time trying to make sure I stayed in lockstep, trying to keep that banner straight and lined up.
Well, you did a fine job. Thank you very, very much. And thank you all for making it possible for the skeptic name to be out there. And we really appreciate it. Thank you. So the next group is going to be the Skeptics in History. Do we have our historical characters? Why don't you come on up with your banner, your
Do you need me to
signs?
move? Looks like you got it.
Do we have a
Need me to
big
step off?
crowd?
Yeah, I'll step off.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to claim the chair next to Ruth.
All right. So how about if somebody sits here and you know the process? We're going to start at the end with name, where you're from, and then we're going to circle back and talk about experiences.
Our character name or our real name? Our-
No, both.
All right, well, my name's Ian Harris, and I'm obviously Mark Twain. Albert Einstein, this is like my, one time doing Albert Einstein. All right.
Hello, my name is Sean Sprinkle. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, and I got to play Plato, one of my favorite Greek philosophers. And I am a first-time parade goer, and this experience was just wonderful.
Hi, I'm Sybil Turner from Atlanta, Georgia, and I got to be Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And I'm a first-time walker as well.
Hi, my name is Brianna Sheely. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I got to be Ida B. Wells, and I'm a first-time parade walker as well.
Yay!
Well, I'm not a first-time parade walker. My name is Kathy Miller, and I'm currently residing with my adorable husband in Huntsville, Alabama, and I had the honor of again playing Marie Curie.
Hi, I'm Christine Jones from Los Angeles, and I was Hypatia in the parade today. Hypatia is not Greek, an Alexandrian philosopher, mathematician from the 4th century.
So we'll start with you,
Do
Albert.
you want to?
No, we're gonna wait till you're done. We're gonna sit down.
Okay. Well, this is, I don't know how many times I've done Einstein. Well, I do it every year in the years that we do it. Because there were a few years we didn't get to do the parade. I'll hold my sign up. But, the thing is, it's the same thing every year. It's always the little kids. The little kids are like, Einstein! They go crazy. And, it's 99% of the people who are screaming, Einstein! It's our little kids, which is kind of cool. It's just, obviously everybody knows who Albert Einstein is, but it is kind of neat when it's, hundreds of little kids who are like excited about Albert Einstein. That's kind of.
He really is like an ambassador of science.
Yeah.
For young, because he was for me. He was my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool to see, because even just walking back here and walking down to the parade, because I walked down and just walking down the street, people driving by going Einstein, like So yeah.
Yeah. I got to play Plato. I came to the Skeptics track, and I asked a question, and I guess I made an impression because immediately I was shanghaied. And she was like, "You're coming to the parade, aren't you? And you're going to join us?" And I'm like, "I guess I have to now." So she took me into the back and showed me all the costumes, and I saw Plato, and I'm like, "Yes, I want Plato," because I actually studied Greek philosophy, and at a very young age, I went to a private school, and they taught us all these things about philosophy. My favorite were logical fallacies, because I found it fascinating that people are so bad at arguing with each other that you could categorize different mistakes people can make during arguments, and I loved that, and so. The experience was great because a lot of people would shout, "Plato!" and I'd run up. And the most memorable experience I had is there was a woman who was not in the parade. She jumped the barrier, and she was carrying this ratty sign. And the only thing that I could read on it was this big John 3:16 on it. And beyond that was just a bunch of scribbles. And
Was she in our?
no, she wasn't. No, she just jumped the line. And I walked up, and she looked at me, and she's smiling. I smiled back, and then I looked at the crowd, and I said, "My teacher Socrates told me it should never be considered a sin to ask more questions." Ooh. And then she took her sign, and she covered my face. And I pointed out to the crowd, and I'm like, see? If people don't want you to ask questions, something's wrong. And that became my shout-out. And kids loved it.
Was she with our group?
No, she wasn't with our group. She was just a random person from the audience.
Did they kick her out?
I do not know. They might have, but I didn't pay her much attention after that. I had more important things like waving to kids and having fun.
They had
They
got
probably
rid of
found
that. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, the important women in history are all together here.
Yeah, I had the honor to be Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and I was really pleased to be able to wear a costume because a lot of her contemporaries are more well known, I guess, generally in the public than she is, and she was a great questioner of women's status in society in the 19th century. And it was very cool. I was really psyched though to see the response for Ida B. Wells. She was very well received, and that was gratifying as well.
Ira B. Wells was the rock star
Yeah,
of
she
this
was.
parade.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
And she did. And so I actually came to a skeptic panel it was the superpowers one. And I was sitting in the back because I was able to get in a little later than when the panel started. And Margaret was sitting behind me. Yeah. And she was like, "Do you want to be in the parade?" And I was like, "I guess, I don't know." And then she was like, "Well, let's see what you can play back here." And she pulled me to the back, and I was like, "I want to play someone that's, being honest, black. I wanted to have that representation." And so when she said Ida B. Wells, I was like, yes, perfect. Because she is so just influential in a myriad of things: women's suffrage, civil rights, standing firm in her beliefs, fighting for truth. And fighting for truth with facts. And so she did warn me that I would be popular, but just being in the crowd and seeing not only older generations respecting and honoring that, but also the younger generations, the little kids, and especially the little black boys and girls, honoring her life. It brought tears to my eyes. It really did. So I was honored to play Ida. Would love to do it again.
Thank you so much.
So I love going back and playing the same character year from year because I do have fan clubs. That's lovely. And I noticed it was so lovely because I tried to target young girls just to make sure, and a lot of people know the name Marie Curie, but I noticed something, and I'm kind of an educator in my heart. I noticed that a lot of them had a recognition of the name, but really didn't know what she did. So I tried some different tactics during the time, just sharing information because that's what Margaret taught me to do. And one of the things that I love that she said is there's nothing to fear, only more to explore and learn. And that's such a great message for our young children. And so I shared that some. I started asking, do you know who I am? And showing my name on the sign with a little group of kids. And sometimes it was just the name recognition, but then I would target things like the fact that she was the only woman to win 2 Nobel Prizes, that she, in fact, discovered 2 of the elements that are now on the periodic table. I went to look for them today, and they were not in the periodic table place, so I couldn't get my usual pictures that I do with my elements. But then also just letting them know that she did it at a time when women were not allowed to do some of the things that she stood up and said, I'm doing them. And I think that every year I try to learn a little bit more about her, and that strikes me. And I was a little sad because there were places when I yelled out "Science rocks" where I got kind of a mediocre response. So to me, that just says we have more work to do, and making sure that we are encouraging those young people to be questioning and to not be afraid to stand out and really inquire. And I think that's why we're here.
So Hypatia, this is my second year of doing Hypatia. She, another woman in history, was a philosopher, mathematician, astronomer, and a teacher. She was very popular and very loved, but however, she was murdered by a mob of Christians and skinned alive. So she ended up being a martyr for skepticism.
So we're going We're going to start again with name, where you're from, name and where you're from, and then tell us some high points of your parade experience.
My name is Jim Underdown. I'm from Chicago, but I live in Los Angeles. And this is my first Dragon Con and my first parade. And thank you. And I was Giordano Bruno, probably the most obscure name in the entire parade.
No.
What?
With the sign.
Oh.
No. With the camera.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you want to read the sign?
Yeah, okay, so Giordano Bruno was born in 1548. He was originally a Catholic priest from Naples. He traveled all through Europe as a philosopher, and after all of his travels and education, had some ideas that maybe our sun was the same as the rest of the stars we see in the sky. He also posited the idea that there were other planets like Earth out there, and he also questioned some of the teachings of the Catholic Church at the time, and the Catholic Church rather frowned upon all of this. They arrested him in Venice in the late 1600s and brought him down to Rome, tried him for heresy in the Inquisition, burned him at the stake in February of 1600. I just wanted to do Bruno because hardly anybody knows who he is. I got a lot of blank stares in the parade.
I did hear somebody yell once, Bruno.
Yeah, I think he said Bruno Mars. Yeah. Okay, I'll take Bruno Mars. But anyway, I thought, you know what, and I also have the words auto da fe ended by. They didn't want me to put burned at the stake on the poster.
We were scared of what it would do to the little children.
Yeah, well, screw the little children. They're,
Wait
they
a
need to
minute.
learn what being burned at the stake was, and what this is. People were burned at the stake for a difference of opinion. Let's call it what it is, and it's an awful, awful way to die, and that was perpetrated by the Catholic Church. So I make no pretenses about the horrors that they put upon them. So it was a real upbeat character to play for the for the parade, but it was fun anyway. At least some people got to see what their
And you
name
just
was.
educated a bunch of people on this podcast.
Yeah, right. So whatever I can do.
Hi, I'm Steven, and I'm from a small town in Texas near Fort Worth. And this year I played Governor William Phipps, governor of Massachusetts back in the late 1600s. And he was the one that during the Salem witch trials, which almost everyone has heard of, not many people have heard of Phipps though. He's the one that said, okay, enough is enough. This is getting way out of hand. And he declared that spectral evidence and spectral testimony was inadmissible in a court of law. So that ended that whole witch trial, literally speaking. And it was great playing him, and I saw a lot of people reading the sign. This one has a fair amount of text on there, so I had to stop and let them read because I could see their eyes. And it's and they said, "Oh wow," and they didn't know about him. So they was really great teaching moments, all throughout the parade. Yeah.
Well, thank you all. You did a fabulous job. While you're leaving the stage, I'll try to take a look at who's out there. I know we have the quack doctor, the farmer, the truth fairy, and let's see. The cheerleader, is she here? That's great. Oh, come on up. While Mark has the camera on me, I want to show you my legal briefs. Don't go anywhere without them. And we can have one more. Do we have I can't see back there. Come on up. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, our paleontologist. All right. We're going to start with you, Sharon. You state your name, where you're from. Maybe go ahead and tell us your experience, and we'll do the same thing as we go along, okay?
My name is Sharon, and I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I really enjoyed it. This is my second time at DragonCon and second time in the Skeptrack parade, and I had a great time. It was a really fun experience seeing all the people cheering for us.
And did you use the Think megaphone?
Yes, I did a little bit.
And what were you shouting?
Think, people, think.
Yeah. Think, people, think. Well, thank you very much for being so cheerful, Sharon.
So I'm John Anderson. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, and I was the truth fairy, extracting the truth from a mouthful of lies. This is my third time being in the parade, and so Margaret's got all these costumes, and every year you come find what you're going to be, and you take it back, and then on the day of the parade, you pull it out of the bag, you put it on. Well, this year, I get my Truth Fairy costume, I get it back up to the room, I pull it out this morning, I go to put everything on, and when I open the bag, an envelope falls out of the bag, and it's not normally in there. I open it up, and it's addressed to me, and it says Truth Fairy costume 2019. This was from 4 years ago when I was the Truth Fairy in the parade, and it somehow just stayed with the costume. So that was really fun to see. But when you're in the parade and you're walking through and you see all the faces and everybody looking, my favorite thing to do is to look out into the crowd and find the people 3, 4, 5, 7 rows back that are there to see it but don't get that interaction, and just make sure they know they're being seen. When we were going through the parking deck, there was one guy 6 rows up by himself just looking out, just blank expression. I looked up and shouted, "I see you," and his eyes got the size of beach balls. And he's like, "I'm trying to hide, leave me alone." But it was great to see the little kids' reaction. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Tooth Fairy, you owe me $1." I'm like, "No, that's my cousin. Wrong one, wrong one."
That's so funny. Thank you. That's great. That was a great story.
Hey, I'm Benita Anderson, and I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide. I was the skeptical farmer, and sowing the seeds of critical thinking and harvesting just the facts. So when we passed the lady with the cardboard sign saying John 3:16, I told the crowd, "Hey, just look for the facts. Ask the questions. Don't listen to somebody else. Don't let them tell you what to think. Think for yourselves." So another awesome thing that I like about being the farmer is that, yes, Hypatia is amazing. Ida B. Wells, absolutely. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, what would we have done without them? But the farmers back hundreds of years ago, they're out there and they're like, I mean, we need food. What are we going to do? And they started realizing if we plant the seeds at this time, we get better crops. If we give them extra water, we're growing them bigger and better. So over the years, the skeptical farmers have fed us. And we don't know their names, but we're glad that they're there. So
that's a great way to look at it. Thank you, Benita. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Did you carry anything in that?
I had a set of keys.
Oh.
Here. Yeah.
So I designed the bucket so that you could pull the top figure of apples, and then things could be stored underneath. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a way to cheat with things that didn't match everybody's costume, but they needed them. So.
You have a whole car.
Yeah. All right.
Hi, I'm Gary Dean. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, on the south side. I got to be the paleontologist. And I had an advantage because I had a joke at the end of my sign, no bones about it. and a prop. So that was very popular. My favorite part was just how popular Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. It blew me away, the reaction. But I had a good dozen kids yell, "I'm going to be a paleontologist." So I'd go over there and give them a fist bump, and others I would ask them, "Do you know what paleontologist does?" They dig up dinosaur bones. So yeah, it's my first Dragon Con parade, but it won't be my last.
Oh, yay, yay. Well, that's a terrific story, and that's what we're trying to do, is educate and inspire. So thank you very much.
I'm Chuck Miller. I don't say I'm from Huntsville. It's the 11th city that I've lived in my life, but that's where I currently am. And I am, once again, the quack doctor. Now, I'm not a graduate of the Google University. I went to DuckDuckGo Medical School. And even though it's just a punny character and like a dad joke, a lot of little kids liked the quack doctor and wanted waves, and I'm gratified that not one said they wanted to grow up to be a quack doctor.
Well, Chuck holds the award for the funniest parade costume and location. It was his first time as a quack doctor, and I caught him standing in front of a chiropractic office. So we took a quick picture there. Well, I want to thank all of you for your participation. Thank you so much. And I'm so hoping that our pirates are here. Are the pirates here? No pirates? Oh, darn. Because the pirate that was in our group, if you noticed her, Natasha, she was my assistant at age 15. And now she's a young lady. She is a professor of religiosity. And she wanted to go to Dragon Con, and I got them in. Her husband's a author of sci-fi. And she's so happy to be here, but I guess she had to run off and do something because her husband is speaking in other locations. Can you turn on the lights for us, Mark? Because I cannot see who is out there. And I don't want to miss anybody. So let's see. Oh, who have we got? Yes, we need fake news. Oh my gosh, that was most fun to design. James, come on up. And who else am I missing? Anybody else? All right.
So usually I was somebody else, with the other
well,
costumes.
speak in there.
But this year,
Well, say your name and where you're from.
Jim Cabalson, and I'm from New Jersey. Okay, and I've been in the parade many times, fairly number of times in Dragon Con, except for the last 3 years.
And
Obviously.
you always had a steampunk outfit.
I had a steampunk, yeah.
Yeah, one time you were carrying the moon.
The moon from H.G. Wells.
Mm-hmm.
But today, I was a fake newscaster, and I kind of worked out a stick, which seemed to work really well. I would walk over to the bunch of kids, but you have to pick the right group, but with adults around. And I said, I'm Jim THX. I'm interviewing for Fake News Network. And I said to the kids, do you know how to tell the difference between what is true and what is fake? And they didn't say anything. And then I said, whoever says it loudest. And then the parents around all burst into laughter.
Oh, wow.
And it really worked really well. I had trouble keeping up because I kept stopping and taking time trying to do this to both sides and running around as fast as I could. But it was really it was just an accident. I came up with it as I sat there, and it really worked well. And the funny part was all the adults who had a big laugh whenever they heard that. And then I turned my back so that they could see this. So, and I would take and point behind there so that they could see that it's satire, not real. So that was fun.
Good, good. Well, you looked great, and he wanted to buy this outfit from me.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you. It's going to stay here in Atlanta. And again, it's because of Angie, Dr. Angie, that we get to use these costumes every year. She stores them in her beautiful home, and it makes it possible for us to set this room up, and we take the costumes right back. I always add 3 or 4, maybe 5 additional costumes because I can't help it. I start thinking about street clothes and how I can make it work with somebody, wanting to be in the parade. And we had so many left over. And I wish one day that we will have the full 45 costumes used. And I always get 45 wristbands, thinking that this is going to be the year. So maybe next year will be the year that we have 45 people involved. So I guess there's nobody else to interview. So how about if I interview Derek? Come on, Derek. Come on, Angie. Let's interview Derek together. Yeah. Come sit right in the middle. We're going to... I lost count. I'm so sorry. I lost count. Do you think we had 20, 25? 20? Yeah, okay.
It is bright up here.
So this is working now, Mark? Thank you. All right,
Why
Derek.
Why am I here?
Because I want to know what you do while we are in the parade.
Well, so normally the room is dark because I want everybody to go to the parade.
Good.
This year, though, we had a great presentation about poison, and it was great. I wish I had forgotten that Hans House was going to be here this year, and Angie's like, "Where is his talk?" I was like, "Oh no." Well, I always have one spot, and the room got full. It was like it was crazy. Everybody loved it, so I told him to come back and do it again. In fact, I told him what we should do next year is have him do that talk and then have a panel with some other doctors and talk about the weird uses of poison.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So, and also, the guy who does all the Palooza, he's in charge of the chemistry department at Georgia Tech. So.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
Pete
I don't know.
Ludovice. Yeah.
Yes. That
So,
guy.
and he's going to do tomorrow before the Palooza. He's finally agreed to do a talk, and he's going to do a talk on skeptical chemistry. So.
What time is that tomorrow?
That would probably be the 9:30.
9:30 p.m. or 9:30 a.m.?
p.m. Because then the comedy show starts at 10.
Oh, okay.
So-
Comedy show's at 10.
Yeah.
And you know what's at 5:30?
Hmm.
What is a street pirate? And I will be with Christina Magalanes-Jones, and I'll be talking with her about a program that's called The Street Pirate. And it's all about taking down religious signs that are publicly displayed. So come on and learn about how you can become a street pirate in your own location. And we're going to be dressed as pirates.
But she's in LA, right? She's in LA? you
LA,
said?
yeah.
Yeah, so we need that here, not there. They're not as bad as here.
Well,
Signs.
the signs are all over the nation.
They are. I work up in Ohio, and on my way to the airport, there are probably 15 signs, and I'm only on the road for maybe 30 minutes. I'm only on the interstate, and hell is real, and all this other, the 10 Commandments and things like that. So yeah, they're everywhere. Oh, chick tracks. I've only found one in the wild. Have you found
What?
tons? Really?
Which
oh
one did you
wow.
say?
Would you go up to the
Chick
microphone and tell?
Yeah, go.
communicate
Yeah,
with us?
please, y'all, please go to the microphone
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to. It's so tempting to yell out because
I
this
know.
room is small, but
I do it from back there and I get yelled at.
I fussed at him because nobody can hear him, and,
No.
and we want to hear
I-
what people have to say, and we want him on the camera so that.
So I didn't hear what you said. Said it
Yeah,
again.
so religious signs that are in public, a lot of the time I find them are small little cards or chick tracks. Not so much
Yeah.
chick tracks anymore, but I think that's just because their company went defunct or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but I've seen a lot less. But there is a very large grassroots movement of what I can only assume to be very introverted apologists and people who want to spread their message but have no courage to actually interact with anyone who might question their beliefs, and so they'll hide these cards and these fake dollar bills or these fake $50 bills, and when you open it, it's some Jesus nonsense. And so anytime that I see those, I just scoop them up into my pocket and I just collect them and then I just dispose of them because, I mean, it's just it's nonsense. And they're places you wouldn't expect or want, like the DMV or doctor's offices, stuff like that.
Yeah, the most sneaky version of that I've seen is the folks who get the folded money.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's money on the ground.
Yeah, that's a jerk move.
And then you pick it up, and in the middle of the fold is
or people who use those for tips for their
Oh, yes,
servers
yes, yes.
at
That is a
restaurants.
jerk Yeah.
They're on social media. I have seen too many servers, especially on like subreddits, where it's communities of like customer service professionals, like Not Always Right, and they'll show these as just, I got another one of these, and someone trying to tip with false money. And of course, my favorite thing to comment under that is, go to a church and put that in the collection table. See how they like it.
You are so wise, Plato.
It makes
Thank
you wish
you so
you could
much.
retroactively spit in their food, right?
No. That's against proper food and health safety.
I know. I just said wish.
Something I wish.
Yeah, wish, It reminds me a little bit of what is that ballet company? But if you actually go, it's nothing but a religious thing. It's an Asian ballet company.
Oh, Kim Chan or Shan
I
Fi
know,
or
they're everywhere,
something.
and it looks like some like cultural thing, and it's not. It's,
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Chuck.
And it's the Fulon Gong.
Thank you. That's what it is. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the first syllable says it all, doesn't it?
Right. The favorite sign I have in Alabama, and we are infested with religious billboards, but my favorite one, and I wish I had a picture to put up here, but Google it, or better yet, DuckDuckGo it. Go to church or the devil will get you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So take a look at that.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and it's got a strange history, too, because the devil on the sign actually was a logo for a gasoline retailer in Birmingham long ago that used to shout, "Red Devil, Red Devil."
Oh, funny.
Well, that tracks.
Well,
Hey, Margaret.
Yes.
You were talking about the street pirate, that kind of stuff. Are you going to tell the money story?
No.
There's money?
No. I want to point out, speaking of signs, there's some sign there that I cannot read, but it says G-O-D question. Want to come up and talk about that?
I see a spaghetti monster.
Yeah, it's a spaghetti monster.
Ah.
I can't read because I
Oh,
took my
no,
glasses.
he's got a calendar.
Oh, yay, he's got a colander on his head. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from.
Hi, I'm Jamin Ellis. Last year I started this because I noticed this is my third year at DragonCon, and the first year I was here, there was a lot of street preachers.
Mhm.
I remember that year.
We didn't see any today.
I didn't
We
see
saw
any today.
one, but you were looking the other way. That
Yeah.
was just as we got started, and that was with the one that Plato was talking about.
Yeah, so last year, Saturday morning, I brought my Pastafarian street preacher
Love
and
it.
spreading the good message about his noodly appendage.
So
I was
sad
hoping to find some more today, but I couldn't find any. So.
We were very sad because we didn't have FSM to this year.
Yeah, Teddy couldn't make it this
Yeah.
year, but she's usually our spaghetti monster. But look at all the things.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, could you read us some of those
Somebody
things?
read me those.
Sure.
I can't see them.
That's great.
Basically trying to convert people. Why should you convert to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? Because we have flimsy moral standards. Every Friday is a holy holiday. That's because our God created the world in 5 days instead of 7. Our afterlife has a beer volcano and a stripper factory.
Stripper factory.
And the most important, no one has ever been killed in the name of our religion.
Oh, wow. So I cordially invite you to join the Skeptics next year in our marching group.
Sure. I would love to.
Very, very
But
cool.
the problem is we only have like 30 seconds to get our message across. So
Yeah.
that might not work too
No,
well.
but the big part where it's fine, and then people will take pictures.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will see people all the time. If there's some, I've seen it even before, where people will see something, they take a picture, and then they'll probably
go back to
zoom in and read it later.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually what you want more, because then later on you'll think about it better.
Yeah.
So.
There's a place for you.
It stopped me when I saw him. I had
Yeah.
to read that sign. I had to stop and read the sign.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Excellent.
Well, ramen.
Uh-oh. I see somebody running up there.
Okay. Well, Mark, should we end the session a little early? Would you mind? All right. Well,
5 minutes.
we're only 5 minutes, unless somebody has something to say.
Does anybody have any questions? We got a mic out there, or if anybody had any other experiences in the parade in the past? Or what would you like to see in the parade? Was there anything in particular that you would like to do differently, or that you would like to see more of or less of? Crickets?
Nobody wants the parade route to be longer.
What's that?
Nobody wants the parade route to be
Oh,
longer.
no, we don't want the parade route longer.
No, but I love the path now, because it used to
Yeah.
be that I couldn't get the car back to the Hilton. And they, instead of letting me go pull into the Marriott like I have in the times past, and I begged one of the valet guys to hold on to it for a couple of hours because of the traffic is so bad I couldn't get around the corner. Today they routed us past, and so all I had to do was turn on Cortland and like I was right here.
Cool.
So otherwise, I mean, like in the past, I was stuck with James Randi in the car for an extra hour. Like it would have been 3 hours, but I sent him back into the hotel.
So I'll tell a fun story about the parade. This would have been about 10 years ago. I've been a director almost 20 years, so I'm an old man. So about 10 years ago, the founder of this convention is Pat Henry. He was still the director then. He passed it on to his daughter, who was like 2 when it started, Rachel. Anyway, the city loves the parade because they make money. But a bunch of news outlets like Today Show and such said, we can't really cover this because it's not long enough. Because they need more space. I don't know why. I'm not one of their engineers. And so they had this hearing where they invited Pat to convince him to make the parade longer. And Pat went up to the mic in a public forum and said, look, I understand. We love the parade. We're not going to stop the parade. But I will tell you something right now. We people at Dragon Con, we are marching people, but we are not a fit people. It was the funniest thing in the world. I was just sitting there going, like, that's the funniest thing ever. And it stuck with me. It's like 10 years ago, and I still remember it. Because it's like we can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, I understand. I would love to have all Today's Show and all, but we can't do this.
I did get a special request this year. A woman in a scooter said, can you think of a scooter costume for next year? And I said, I'll think about that, because maybe we want to invite like 4 scooter people and have something coordinated
The 4
there.
scooters of the apocalypse?
Oh, that was good. That was good. But we'll think outside the box. I considered it a challenge when she said that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So any ideas? You've got my email. Most of you have my phone number. If it's, please visit our Facebook page, join our Facebook page. It's the Dragon Con Skeptics Marching Group or something like that. Do you remember the title? It's got a Yeti in a bush as the...
that's my buddy.
Yeah, Mike. So Mike doesn't do it anymore. I think we scared the heck out of him. He was a Yeti one year, and he was walking along, and he was really engaging in people. He loved what he was doing. He got back here, he took it off, and he had
heat stroke.
He had heat stroke.
Well, not only that, we had a giant trash can, a bigger one than the ones we had back there. And he said, let me tell you, I almost died. He took these Yeti thing off, and he's a big guy. He's about 2 inches taller than me, and I'm 6'4". And he took the whole thing and he wrung it out, and there's about this much water, which was
We
sweat.
threw it away.
We threw it away.
I was so glad we got that one picture. That's why we're keeping it on our Facebook page, because it's such a rarity.
It's like, he said, I think I lost about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like sweating in that thing.
So go to the Facebook page, join if you have not joined, and post all your pictures, please. Make some comments, and we'll get this particular show on the line, online.
You know,
with
he
the rest-
says,
Yeah.
on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, on the YouTube channel.
If
So
all
you
you
can-
don't know,
if
we
you-
have to put up signs about our YouTube channel. We
Yep.
never do.
So we're live streaming the whole weekend, and you can even see where we live streamed. We were the only track that live streamed in 2020. Other tracks were phoning it in, and we crushed it.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Mark Ditzler, he is the hardest working man in show business, and
Big
we
hand
have
for Mark.
the
This is
best
true.
AV at the entire
Let me
con.
tell you, the 2020 show, if during the pandemic, he turned his house. When I tell you, I'm not kidding. He turned his house into a studio.
Yep.
I mean, it had a green screen and everything, and we had everybody come in live. We did the same content we do live here, but online, and we did the entire thing. And like everybody else's contracted like 1 or 2 live things and had recorded things. We did the entire schedule.
Crushed it.
Crazy.
Mark's
I
gonna
see a
say
question
something.
at the mic.
I was just going to say that we're trying our best to do the streaming this year. We have a very weak uplink because the internet was changed at the last minute.
I know.
So we've scrambled, thanks a lot to
Thank
Angie,
you to Angie.
to make as much as we can happen. Unfortunately, it's not as solid as it should be, so we don't have the best stream this year. But everything in this room is being recorded and will be on our YouTube channel as soon as I get a chance to put it up. And that's youtube.com/skepticstrack.
And over time, if you keep look at that, as we find time, because we don't, we how many years of stuff do we still have?
I'm seeing it back to like 15.
I
wasn't it?
think I for some reason 2010 sticks in my head.
Okay.
But I don't have every show from every year, but I have as much as I can get out there, and I'll keep putting them. I don't have all of last year's out there. I just didn't have enough time to edit some of them.
Yeah.
But I will hopefully get them out there. I'm trying to make it so that I don't have to do really much editing at all to put them out, so I can get them out quicker.
So
And I
keep an
think-
eye on it.
I think 2021 we had a hard time because we weren't sure if we were going to be live or if we were going to be online, or we didn't know what was going to happen.
gosh.
So, and
Now-
then
now-
there were family issues, with the pandemic and everything, and so it wasn't our usual year. But
Now 2020 that we did all virtual.
Yeah,
Right,
that was
that was
good.
the one I was
there,
bragging
those
on.
got up there immediately because there was no editing for me to
Yeah.
do. So
Right.
I actually set it up that they would go live as soon as we finished recording.
Yep, and that's why I'm so proud of that. You did such an amazing job.
Yeah.
I could not be prouder of that year. I mean, like in the midst of the entire world falling into chaos, you were the only guy that kind of helped everything together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark.
It was my way of staying sane in that year.
And then the next year we got in trouble because they helped us. The convention helped us, like all the people that do all like the rental equipment and everything. They're like, look, we don't have the amount of stuff that you usually have. But he said, I've seen your layout, so I got the actual plan that he uses to do all this. Because he couldn't do it because he had some family things.
2021, I couldn't do that because we were still in the midst of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I live with an immunocompromised person.
Yeah. So
And unfortunately, DragonCon did not put mask mandates in place until about 2 weeks before the con.
yeah.
So, and I need more time than that to prepare.
Yeah. Sure.
So I basically said, I can't do it this year. And
Yeah.
then they put the mask
Nobody-
mandate in. I said, if
Yeah.
you'd have done that sooner, I could have done it.
But the
No,
funny,
man,
I
nobody.
wasn't available
Yeah.
to do it.
Nobody thinks you did the right. Everybody
Well,
thinks
no,
you
no.
did exactly
No,
the
but
right
just-
thing.
I'm just
We
letting
weren't worried
people
about
know.
it.
But the
Yeah.
fun part is he actually did a little like video and put it out, and then the person in charge of tech operations in DragonCon, he said, "Oh, what you don't have any AV?" I said, "No," and we never asked for anything because this is all Mark stuff, by the way. And he said, "Give me a plan of what he does." So I did, and he came through it about what 70% maybe.
It wasn't bad. I was
That wasn't
actually,
bad.
I was very pleased
Yeah.
with that year. I mean, I think there were some rough patches, and I don't even know if those are online, but you did a great job.
But there's a punchline.
Yeah.
the-
We
the-
don't have long for it.
I know,
though,
but
so.
like the whole con helped us. They helped everything. They actually had a bunch of people came to like help set up.
Yeah, they
and
really
then,
did help.
Then I got a phone call after the convention. I got yelled at for taking more resources than any other ballroom in the entire convention.
Wow.
And so I said, well, there's a testament to how much work Mark puts in.
Amen.
just his plan, it was only 70% of it. They said, you had more tech in your room than anywhere else in the con. I was like, well, we usually have more.
Well, we also have the best
Yeah, we
AV
do,
by
by
a long
far.
shot.
And
Yeah.
maybe that's why everybody volunteered to help, because
Yeah.
they like the skeptics.
No, it was crazy. Yeah, and he was like, a lot of people were in your room. It's like, I didn't ask for anything.
Yeah.
That's the worst part is I didn't even ask for it.
Yeah. Well, we're way over time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Margaret, for everything you do.
Court
Thank you.
dismissed.
Thank you, all the parade walkers. We'll see you. We'll see you soon.
Costumes can be returned in the back of the room.